Find goblins.
Some people are upset that Steam is making them developers disclose that they use some AI assets in their game.
Oh, why would they be
And this,
upset about that?
well, let's find out. So, Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney, on Twitter, he comes out and he says the AI tag is relevant to art exhibits for authorship disclosure and to digital content licensing marketplaces, where you need to understand like the right situation. And
Mm.
it says it makes no sense for game stores where AI will be involved in nearly all future production.
I mean, that's just assuming, really,
Yeah,
assuming, the AI bubble doesn't burst first off, or like things don't actually just lend that way for digital storefronts like this. That's a lot of like, he's forward thinking, like way
yeah.
far ahead.
Well, and then this guy says the obvious. He's Benji Game Dev. He says this heavily implies Epic are using AI coding tools for their latest Unreal Engine. And he comes back and he says, not true. I just hate to see Valve confiscate ever more opportunities from small developers by facilitating new categories, cancel campaigns, and review bombing. Steam used to just facilitate downloads. Then they foreclosed on payments, the price competition, and then crypto. Now AI. Uh, it's kind of a lot to unpack, but let's focus on the AI stuff.
Okay, I like and this tweet is by Benji Game Dev. He's working on a game I actually really like right now. All
Yeah.
handmade stuff by himself, which is, by the way, very impressive. Um, but he's right. Ultimately, this implies that Epic is using AI right now in some way, shape, and capacity, and we've seen that from Fortnite recently. Some of the AI or some of the art that's been shown off in the most recent season has looked a little AI-ish, or either it's been AI generated or it's been touched up by AI, or vice
Mm.
versa. We're
Or
not
AI
sure.
generated and touched up by a regular artist.
Absolutely, yeah. We're not entirely sure right now. There was a whole controversy online about that not too long ago. So this doesn't surprise me that Tim Sweeney here is, yeah, everyone should be using it because that's where also my money is too.
Yeah. He's like, I've invested in this.
I've invested, therefore you should be too. Like
Yeah,
everybody.
but he said, Benji Game Dev says
Mm.
that this implies that Epic is using it, and Tim Sweeney says, no, that's not true. So it's like, is he lying, or because people, because he knows that generative AI use is unpopular, or
Mm.
is he telling the truth?
Well, according to the second half of this tweet, which is therefore according to Steam guidelines, any game built with Unreal Engine must declare the use of Gen AI, which would be also like any coding that's used in the game, in the
Hmm.
engine, even, right? Um, and so I think that's a way for him to backpedal and say, no, you don't have to list every game that's on Steam that uses Unreal Engine has generative AI in some way, shape, or form, because that would affect every Unreal Engine game on Steam, like or at least Unreal Engine
Right.
5, the most recent one. And that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money taken away from them from bad publicity because the AI is unpopular, or generative AI at least.
Yeah. Well, that happened back in November. That
Mm.
that thing, but more recently. No, wait, this
Ooh.
happened in November as well. Just looking at the dates.
Well, it was all recent discussion, right? Makes
Yeah,
sense.
I saw it recently. I saw it this week, whatever.
Okay.
All right, so then this guy, I don't know who he is. He says the Steam and digital marketplaces need to drop the made with AI label. It doesn't matter anymore, which is questionable.
Okay.
But then the Valve artist, one of Valve's artists says this is like saying food products shouldn't have their own ingredients lists. And consumers should have the information to decide whether or not they want to consume that media. Which honestly, I feel like that's really more of a middle point. That's like a compromise ground already. Because like the other end of the spectrum is
Mhm.
just ban your AI game. don't allow it at all.
Mhm. But they don't want to like outright ban everything that's AI or generative AI. They're letting the users
No.
decide, which I think
Right.
holds like a higher point of, well, we're giving you the option to make a choice for an informed decision, right?
Right.
Because it's
That's the
clearly
middle ground.
unpopular. It kind of works out better for Steam and for the users overall than just outright banning it or just letting it run free with no tagging of any kind.
Well, you know, and it,
Uh,
it lets the developers play around with the AI and see what works and what doesn't, you know? So,
yeah. I love the
yeah.
reply here from uh this guy, which is like food you eat and can kill you. It applies to your house and catch fire. It's like, I'm not afraid of the label
Yeah.
personally. It's like, yeah, that's food you eat can kill you. That's why there's the label. Like, you're gonna eat a food that has like red
Exactly.
dye 40. He just made his point. Ooh,
That's why cigarettes are labeled. Like beer is labeled. Don't drink it if you're pregnant, you know.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
but he's saying that like that's why food is labeled, but not AI can't kill you like that. So that's why it doesn't need to be labeled. But then the Valve artist comes back
Not
and he
yet.
says, "Well, it's good to know if your clothes or coffee are being produced by child labor or organically produced or other
Mhm.
things like that." And then he gets off Twitter and he goes to LinkedIn and he backpedals and he
Mhm.
says, "As it currently stands, Valve's themes made with AI net is so wide it catches any developer that uses Unreal. Google Suite, Slack, Adobe products, Microsoft Office." He says it's unfair and lacks nuance.
I
Which
don't know if it lacks nuance. It's
no,
pretty
I mean
clear cut.
if you go to well, like the nuance there is from the developer. If you go to um the page and it says
Mm,
AI generated content disclosure, the developer writes what they want to put, writes how they use it.
yeah. It's also
I
like
have an
what type
example
of
here.
content.
Yeah,
Okay.
so a lot of them just put like one sentence, be like, "Oh, I didn't use it that much. I just use it for a song or whatever." But like,
Mm,
I have an example here of like a guy who wrote a couple paragraphs. He's providing a lot of like
okay.
nuance um uh in how he used it. So like this isn't even true what this guy is saying, you know?
Hmm.
Like the nuance is there if you want to put it there.
Well, again, this is like uh, the people who are upset about this are the people who have money invested in AI and generative AI technology. Even if you yourself as a developer are not like campaigning for like, or if you are campaigning for like, oh, um whatever AI type thing, AI labels, AI this, AI that, anything that you're campaigning for is like, this guy who's on LinkedIn, this guy who's arguing with developers on Twitter, there is clearly some kind of money tied up into it. um and that's
Hmm.
like the big thing is, uh there is a clear show that um products that are made with generative AI start suffering on on digital storefronts like this. It starts getting review bombed, or it starts getting bad reviews, and then people are like, "Oh, why didn't you pay an actual artist?" Um, People enjoy things made by actual people, but even if it's only like a little bit used, there is some backlash from that. I
Hmm. Like
I just
here's a perfect example too that so like on the Steam forums for Metal
yeah,
Eden, this guy
okay,
says removed from my wish list. Keep your AI slop. I'm no longer interested. Congrats on ruining an otherwise good looking game. To the trash pile it goes. The developer
okay.
comes in and says, "Thanks for your feedback. One thing I'll add, though, AI was used to generate about 10 lines of chatter for a robotic character. After we couldn't pick up any more recordings with the actors. Cheers." It's like, okay, well, if it's only 10 lines, why don't you just get the guy back. Maybe he had scheduling conflicts, or like maybe it was too expensive. I don't know, but like if it's only 10 lines, then like is it really
Hmm.
that big of a trouble to get the actor to come back in and just record for a few hours?
Not really. I mean, like, what's your delay? It's going to be like, what, like a week or two? That's not a very long
Yeah,
delay for like just getting a short amount of lines. 10 lines? That's nothing. But,
yeah,
this begs the question, which is what's the line drawn between what's a small amount of generative AI being used versus like, okay, this is too far, you've gone too far with like the AI that you've used. Like this, I feel like is encroaching on the line because you're using someone's likeness. It's someone's voice that you're basically generating a
right,
thing for to match
right.
the
And you have the
pre-recorded
question of
lines.
like, right. And you have the question of like, if they get permission to use them in this way, or is it just like,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna use it. It's just 10 lines, whatever.
yeah,
Like it's like taking the shortcut when it's appealing because it's faster and cheaper, but like ultimately your work suffers.
yeah. At the end, I think everything suffers from generative AI being used in this type of way, because it just hurts. Because that's an extra paycheck for the voice actor. Um, it's like that's an extra paycheck being taken away from the voice actor. It's extra. It's work being taken away from artists. It's things being taken away from actual people. And sure, you're saving like the company's bottom line with how much money you've saved, but I think it hurts them in the long run, or at least right now it
Yeah,
does.
yeah. Now, um, is there any way that people could use AI that would be okay?
Uh, the difference is generative versus non-generative AI. Um, Generative AI is okay. They're pooling from a source of data to generate a brand new image that's based on current images that are in the pool, right? Same for voices,
Hmm.
for video, for whatever else. But uh, AI is also used as a learning machine to help with programming that's not coding specifically, but to like, oh, I need to calculate this vector so that I can code this thing right. It's like, okay, well, it can be used for that. I think of the what was it? The second Spider-Verse movie, where they said they used an AI model, an LLM, to help render certain things, certain frames correctly, because that used so many different clashing art styles and the such, and to get them to all work together, um, they pretty much got like certain characters that had like weird outlines that had to change every frame. Uh, they used an AI to basically just like, oh, it's gonna mess with the outline every other frame, just so
Hmm.
it looks like it's fluid and moving. That's a
Yeah, so something
tool
that
that's being
improves,
used to enhance. Yes, that's it.
yeah, something that improves your workflow.
Absolutely.
Or there's this other thing that like um coders, they have this term called vibe coding. Have you heard of that?
I loosely
Yeah, so
is that when they have
I heard
like
of
the
that
AI pretty
loosely.
much do it for them?
Yeah, pretty much. Like they'll type it into the AI and then they'll come back with like the vibe code and then they'll just plug it in, right? And then they'll be like, it's like, and then like it works or it doesn't, and they'll like do some trial and error, blah, 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 rather than like actually thinking and learning about the code. They just kind of like, "Oh, whatever, let's see if it works," and they call that vibe coding.
Hmm.
Um, Maybe that works at like some of the lower levels, like vibe coding stuff like
Hmm.
that. But like if you're like trying to like polish something, I don't know. I'm not versed enough in like coding to like know for sure, but like maybe not.
Now I've heard of a couple examples of like vibe coding for uh like applications and stuff like that. You're doing that from scratch. where like you basically have to rewrite the entire thing just because like, oh, you're trying to polish it up, this program that AI basically put together for you, but you really can't without like the entire thing breaking down, and at that point you're basically just like rewriting it from scratch. That's probably not the case every time, but that's what I've heard in certain situations.
Okay. Well, did you want to see some of the comments on like this one where the guy was like, "Oh, it's only 10 lines,"
Yes.
from the
What do
Reddit?
we got?
All right, so let's see it.
What's
Let's
Reddit
open up the
saying?
link.
I'm always asking, wow, what does Reddit think about this?
All right. Um, let's see.
I gotta look at
This guy
the
says, "I hope
screenshot that
Steam
you
AI
posted on
label
the thing
has
here.
more sub-labels with elaboration on how AI is used. This is clear." He says, "This is clearly not slop and it's not AAA." Um, but we already talked about that. Like, you don't need more
Hmm.
sub-labels. I don't think this guy actually looked at like the AI content disclosure. It's very nuanced already. You could write paragraphs.
Yeah, there's literally like a ton that you can basically put in there or leave out, but it has to like talk directly about what it is that's being used.
Yeah. This guy says, "Why
Is that
risk
not
giving your
enough?
game the AI tag for 10 lines?" And yeah, we had the same point,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. It's
We're getting
hurting your.
punished for it.
I don't know. People just don't want to see it, just generally. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm on that same bandwagon, man. I don't want to see generative AI in most games. Just get it out of there.
Yeah. This guy
What
says
else does
small
Reddit
uses of
think?
AI like this are tolerable at worst. What sucks is reliance on AI. It's like, is it really tolerable? I don't know. Like
It's
it, it's hurting
uh,
the art form.
mhm.
Like
Well, because
like
this is the start of the push to basically make it more acceptable. Period. If you're allowing something small like this, well then, okay, well what's the next step from there that we can allow, and people will be okay with? Okay, it's going to
right,
be this, and then it's going to be this, and then okay, suddenly a lot of art is being AI generated after a certain amount of time. We
right.
can't
There,
allow
there,
anything, in my opinion.
yeah. There's an example of Valve when they were doing Portal and
Mm-hmm.
GLaDOS. They could have just put that in like a text to speech thing and gone straight with that. And that would have sounded very robotic already. But they didn't do that. They hired a voice actor to do
Mm-hmm.
the robot voice. And that's what makes GLaDOS amazing. That's what brings the character to life, you know? It would have just felt so flat and it wouldn't have been as great if it had just been text to speech or even in like a chat GPT voice. Like they didn't have that then, but still.
Okay. On that same note, Amazon recently, I gotta pull up the name of it. But Amazon recently had an anime on their platform that used an AI to dub it into English. The
Oh
entire dub,
yeah. I saw
AI
this.
generated. Ugh. What is it called? Banana fish. Yeah, banana fish. And I'm watching like a couple clips from it, like this dub, and wow, it flat, just straight up flat. Even when the AI model is trying to yell and like express emotion, it is no tone at all. It can't. It just and
Hmm.
even if it gets better to the point where it's able to replicate and do that, I just would rather not. I want the human experience, even if it is for a thing like a robot. Like you're putting like a human touch on something so that it
Yeah.
connects more fully with you as a person.
Yeah. I've seen like TikToks or reels of people speaking to like ChatGPT on their phone and they like,
Yeah.
all right, you're an actor now. You're in a horror movie. You gotta give me a blood curdling scream. because you're getting stabbed, and and the AI goes, "Ah, ah," and they're like, "No, no, 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 no. That's not enough. Give it to me, guttural. I want it from your core." And it's like, "Oh, okay, I get it, I get it, I get it. Here we go. Here, you ready?" Ah. You know, so it's like,
Yeah, it just can't do it. It really can't do it.
no,
And I'm sure the technology will get better for it to be able to do stuff like that, but as regardless, that's not the point.
no, that's not the point. This person says people are exaggerating as hell when it comes to AI. Hard
That
disagree.
guy's yeah, right? I mean, again, that's somebody who's way in on it right now. But
Hmm.
anytime we hear about anything from some guy on Twitter who is like a part of a company or a studio or something like that, and they're pro AI, it's because there's money tied up into it.
Yeah.
It's a big
So,
investment.
Jimmy, will you permit me to go on a short rant here? Because
Yes.
after reading some of these comments, it makes me sad to see like just some of these people ready to defend this, like
Yeah.
now beyond the ethical concerns that AI is basically stealing intellectual property and the lack of consent used to train the data, beyond the inaccuracy or
Hmm.
hallucinations that generative AI is prone to, like beyond the environmental impact even. To
Hmm.
say to those who say, let me choose if I want to consume AI content. Let me decide what's right for me. Maybe I can explain the impact of the use of AI on you. Firstly, let's be clear. This isn't about some impersonal robot, right? The bosses that use AI are exploiting you. They're exploiting your experience
Hmm.
and your connection to other people. They're exploiting your labor and not paying you. They're not paying you for your work. They didn't get your consent first. Generative AI, art, music, movies, etc., from Van Gogh to Drake, right? It amounts to the greatest art heist in history. The bosses of these corporations are effectively exploited the work of all other artists who came before. And as an artist working in the creative industry, it's hard to escape use of AI sometimes. But when you work for a company and they tell you to use AI, you are further alienated from your work. Truthfully, we are already alienated in this, but this just exacerbates the situation. So if you don't know about the theory of alienation, I'll break it down a little bit. There are four
Okay.
aspects of alienation. And when you work for a company, they are alienation from the product of your labor. This is the table you built, the burger you served, or the art you made because the company owns the rights, not you. It's
Hmm.
um, the alienation from the activity of your labor. This is the control over how the product is made. You are confined to a specific area, say a cubicle or an assembly line, or even more modernly, like working for the algorithm. Um, alienation from your own humanity, even. You are simply working to survive. What you do is dull and repetitive. There's no real intellectual engagement. You are reduced to that of an animal or like a cog in a machine. You probably even feel more free outside work than during work. Then, lastly, four, you are alienated from others. In the profit driven nature of work, it pits you against other workers. Now, maybe your job isn't like competitive between each other right there, but definitely in the job market. You ever look for a job? It's really hostile and purely transactional. But even still, in some workplaces, you are made to compete against each other for bonuses or promotions. And then further, today, in the gig economy, Uber drivers, they literally compete against each other to see who will pick up rides the cheapest. This basically amounts to the surrender of control of your life through the separation of the essential traits that make you you. So, for example, let's say that you're a fast food worker, right? Your job is to make french fries all day, every day. You stand over the hot fryer, serve up fries. sweating over the hot fryer every day. Your acne gets worse because of the grease. You have an idea, a short shield from the grease, so you don't look all busted all the time, right? You pass this idea to your boss, and if you ever work somewhere a day in your life, you probably already know the answer. No. Not allowed to mess with a workstation. It's
Mm.
the same for everything else too. If you get a creative idea with a seasoning, you get reprimanded. If you get an idea for a new burger, you told, "Oh, it's not your place." If you try to socialize with your coworkers, the manager tells you to get back to the fryer. Something breaks, you don't get to fix it or even learn to fix it. They have someone for that. You get paid minimum wage, you don't share in the profits, so know your place. The lesson is you don't own your work. The boss does, and you are easily replaceable. So, as to not lose your job and make a basic living, you work as a cog in the machine that is this business. And while you are now separated from your basic humanity, you are now alienated, and that is while you are, at least while you're at work, right?
Mm.
There's a bit of respite and escape, and you claim back ownership of your time when you're not at work. But on company time, you are that cog. Working as an artist for a game company is already very similar. Let's take it back. You can't draw in your own style. You have to draw in the company style, etc. Now the boss wants you to use AI, and you are told to use AI to be faster, to generate more um, concepts or whatever. And now you're even that one step more, even more removed from the art that you created. Not only that, but it's trained on the art you already made. You went from an important cog helping to create the product to like a sensor only providing oversight of the machine creating your work. This outsourcing of your creativity is a loss of identity for you as an artist. Your ability to even create is no longer valued because of the AI's ability to instantly replicate and supersede your output. Your contribution to society, maybe your major contribution to society, your art is now worth less than it was. Then, on top of all of this, social spaces, especially online, but sometimes in person, they're being invaded by generative AI. These spaces, writing groups, art communities, uh, groups on Reddit or whatever, they serve as an escape from your alienation at work. The invasion deepens your separation from society. Humans are social animals, and if our only place in society is to eat, sleep, consume media, what's the point? We
Yeah.
need an outlet. We crave it. Whether that's doing something creative, playing sports and being active, or giving back, or being social with friends, or even spiritual connections. The loss of these outlets make us all less connected. Let's take it out of the creative space for a moment, since kind of a hot topic. But
Mm.
imagine for a moment the robots that Boston Dynamics or Tesla are currently working on now are good enough to play sports. Now, let's be clear, these robots, it's not the robot's fault. It's merely a tool, but it's the owners who are to blame. But they start to replace human athletes with robots because the robots are faster, stronger, they don't get tired. Sports are an outlet just for people, just like being creative is. Watching robots play basketball is gonna suck. The
Hmm.
beauty of sports is not the game, it's that people play it. The beauty is in the struggle. That's why at the Olympics, they tell you the background of the athletes and how they got there, because we need to understand that struggle, to get how they got to the Olympics, to fully appreciate their accomplishment. If we lose that, we lose what really makes sports great, and eventually the game will get distilled down, the struggle will be squeezed out, the robots will play the same. It's the same with art. The reason art has meaning, the reason art makes you laugh or cry or shocks you, is the human connection we all get when interacting with art. Even now, we are already 2 steps removed watching TV and movies because of the medium we view it through. The first step of removal is when we watch it on a screen instead of in person. This already makes it impersonal, but the second step of removal is actually binge watching. Gone are the days when you would watch the same show at the same time and you would come to work and you would discuss it. No, now you watch it on your time. You get spoiled by early watchers and it hurts your experience. It makes it worse. When I saw The Lion King in theater, it was my first time going to the theater. My first time watching anything live and in person. I was filled with the anticipation and excitement because I heard it was a good show. But as I sat there in that dimly lit theater with hundreds of people around me, I was not prepared with the feelings that overcame me as the drums started and the circle of life filled the air. Ah, cigüeña, magabi, kababa. Those animal actors, they paraded down through the aisles, rushing past me toward the stage. I felt a connection I haven't felt since. The tears, I had tears streaming down my face for the whole first act. From then until the intermission, I was locked in, Jamie,
Yeah.
and AI can never replace that. So, to the person who would choose AI art over human created art, why would you choose to cheapen that connection? Why would you choose to let your life, your experiences be cheapened for profit?
It was beautiful, man.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank
That's a
you.
beautiful sentiment. I
Yeah.
wholeheartedly agree because I a lot of this has to do with the fact that our society is set up for us to be more impersonal towards each other on every level, on every scale, even with ourselves. Um, we drive in our cars and we're driving around other cars that we don't view as other people. We interact with people on social media, but they're not really people in our minds. That's a user online. I'm arguing with a faceless person. That's not
Exactly.
that's an impersonal thing. Everything we do in our society in this day and age is impersonal, and even understanding and knowing ourselves has become a struggle within. So how do we connect? How do we reconnect with ourselves and with fellow man?
Yeah, internet was supposed to connect us, but
It
really it's separating us.
it did for a time.
Yeah,
I feel like the earliest parts of the internet were designed to connect people together, but it, like all things, and like the AI situation, it is an exploitation of said thing. Our
exactly.
AI workers, or the idea of replacing workers with AI. We've been talking about Microsoft. They've been doing it for the last few weeks. Amazon's doing it. So many other small startups are starting to do that. They're replacing their workers with the AI that's taking the workers' code. It's taking their art. It's taking their ideas, and now it's pooled into its own thing. So all of you humans are expendable and unnecessary. And what kind
Hmm.
of message are we trying to send to each and every person that they are almost worth less than this machine?
Yeah. I
It's
saw
awful.
just earlier, just this morning, I saw a post on Reddit that said um the traffic online by bots has now surpassed real human traffic.
Yeah, I believe
So
it.
we're getting closer to the dead internet theory.
Uh, my friend and I have been kind of uh, prepping for the day the internet stops being a thing in the way that we know it now,
What
because
are you
it's
doing?
I'm collecting more physical media, and I'm downloading my favorite
Oh,
YouTube videos. I'm getting ready to start being offline more fully. Um, and it comes with everybody, almost everybody you interact with on so many other sites are just like, okay, well, that's a robot, or that's a thing designed to
yeah.
not have me interact with it or interact back. There,
Sometimes I'll be on Reddit and I'll see a comment and I'm like, that's a chat GPT ass answer.
Yeah.
I'm like, that sounds like just like Chappy GPT. Like,
They
get
put
out of
that they
here.
put the like long hyphen in there, not the regular one on a keyboard, but
Uh,
like a full one. It's like, I don't know,
yeah.
buddy.
Or like, you know how ChatGPT talks, and like someone will ask a question, and then they'll be like, it won't be like, oh, that they won't gas you up first, but they'll be like, they'll break it down. They're like, here's what you need to do, and they'll give like 3 points, and it's like,
Yeah.
no, that's a ChatGPT ass answer right there.
You're a robot. You're not real.
Yeah.
uh yeah, so I've been collecting some physical media. I'm collecting CDs. I'm getting ready to get off Spotify. Um Spotify Wrapped just happened, and that was my sayonara essentially to Spotify, because I'm not going to resub for this next
Yeah.
foreseeable future. I'm downloading all my music. I'm buying
Spotify's
actual
big onto
albums.
AI now too.
Well, yeah, that's
And
part of one of the
music and
things.
not just people uploading AI music, but like they're using AI to like curate lists for you or whatever.
They have a DJ. I forget what
Exactly. Yeah,
it's
the
called.
DJ.
The DJ is like an AI bot that like tries to get your like personalized playlist, but depending on your mood or whatever, he talks to you. He doesn't have like a back and forth,
Can you
obviously,
talk
because
back?
like
Oh, okay.
no, it's like a radio DJ. That's the idea.
Yeah.
Um, but it, I have used it once. I've been in my friend's car when he's used it 2 different times. It never gets exactly what you want, or even exactly what like a DJ would like curate for a type of sound.
Yeah.
Um, and even if it does get better, I would rather not be recommended songs like that than just someone telling me, "Hey, come check this out."
Yeah,
Um,
because that's the cool thing about music is like not only going to see it live in person and getting that connection from the artist directly, but
mm,
like, when you share music with a friend, they're like, "Hey, check out this cool song I heard."
yeah,
If you're just getting all your recommendations from Spotify's AI DJ, like you're more lonely.
absolutely. It's like it's isolation again.
Exactly.
Um,
It's alienating.
what's it called? Bandcamp. They do a thing every other day where it is a like pre-recorded radio show essentially, um, where they will like they'll have a person there. They're talking about some topics, and they'll play a bunch of Bandcamp songs. Right after the intro monologue, and then it'll cut in between with you know more radio host DJ stuff right after, and then more music. It's them talking about whatever they want to talk about, but usually they leave it to stuff that's in the specific genre that they're playing. But I've been listening to that more like recently than anything else, just because wow, I'm getting a real person's recommendations. They're
Yeah.
telling me a little bit about the song, the band, whatever. Sometimes they have a specific band on, play a bunch of their music, and then they're talking about said music right after.
Yeah, and that's more connection too, because like now you get to like a deeper understanding and appreciation of that band.
Absolutely. So Spotify, they have a lot of money tied up in AI. The CEO, he's invested a lot of money into the AI organizations, and so has the Spotify Corporation. So I'm saying sayonara to all that. I'm
Hmm.
just gonna start downloading music onto my phone, just ripping it from my CDs that I own. So
Back to the iPod.
real talk, yeah. I'm going old school with it. It's the only way to get around any of this
Yeah.
nonsense.
What did it say your age was?
Oh, I think mine was like 23.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm younger. I got 21.
yeah, all my friends got like I don't know, like 18 to like 20. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I guess I'm not
I was
listening
like,
to
I don't
like
know how I got like 21. I listened to like metal and then like some I was recently listening to like video game soundtracks like for the Game
yeah.
Awards, and I was like,
That was like my number 4, I think, on my genres, but I really don't listen to a lot of video game music on Spotify. I
yeah,
was like, how did that happen? No, I think it's based on like what like how recent the music you've been listening to is.
yeah, okay, like
So
when it came out.
yeah, so if you've been listening to stuff that's like oh, it came out like this year or like a year
Yeah.
ago or something, your age lowers.
Oh, okay. I do like to listen to like new music, like new metal, and see
hmm,
where that's going. Because sometimes you just want to hear something different.
yeah, I've been listening to a lot of new music too, but lately, like the last few months, I've been listening to a lot of. I've been going through all of Rush's discography, and I think that I kind of like pushed my
Yeah.
my age thing like up like a lot.
I mean,
Yeah,
but 23 is still pretty young.
I wish I was 23.
You didn't get like 30 how old would Rush listeners be? Like 60, like my dad's
Yeah.
age.
Those are old people. According to me.
I mean,
It's
I
still
know they're old.
yeah. It's still good music though. It's great
Yeah.
music.